Hello, this is our Kaiplay full paper presentation. Our topic is First Contact with Dark Patterns and Deceptive Designs in Chinese and Japanese free-to-play mobile games. I'm Gloria Xiaodan Zhang, and the co-authors are Yijia Wang, Taro Nakajima, and Seaborn. We're from the Institute of Science Tokyo. Games are often celebrated for their many benefits, but alongside those positive aspects, concerns have emerged, particularly around negative effects such as problematic addiction and gambling-related issues. One area of growing attention is the way games intentionally use certain design elements that mislead or manipulate players. In the field of human-computer interaction, those are known as dark patterns or deceptive designs. Unlike DPs in general UI/UX, game DPs are deeply rooted in gameplay itself. Because of this, researchers generally treat game-specific DPs as a distinct category. Despite this growing attention, we identify several gaps in the current literature. First, the taxonomy of game DPs remains unstructured and fragmented. Second, there is little exploratory or descriptive work. And finally, there is a lack of empirical investigations that carefully document how these patterns appear in real games. To address these gaps, we extended earlier studies to explore DPs specifically in free-to-play mobile games in China and Japan. Therefore, we aim to provide evidence of DPs in popular Chinese and Japanese free-to-play games, uncover new DPs not described before, and examine how those patterns combine and interact within games. We focus on the onboarding phase, the early stage when players are first introduced to the game. And we ask, first, what kinds of DPs are present in Chinese and Japanese free-to-play mobile games, and how do they interplay? Second, what is the distribution of each pattern? And finally, what are the similarities and differences in types, frequencies, and aesthetics between the Chinese and Japanese offerings? We used a heuristic or qualitative expert classification approach and collected the top 50 rankings from the App Store in both China and Japan, and selected 18 games, 9 from each country, representing different categories. Each researcher played and recorded every game at least twice, for a minimum of 15 minutes each session. Then researchers reviewed the recordings, identified DPs, and collaboratively classified them. To guide our classification, we use the present taxonomy, which identifies 4 categories of deceptive game design patterns: temporal patterns, manipulating time to keep players engaged longer than expected; monetary patterns, encouraging unexpected or excessive spending; social patterns, exploiting social connections inside or outside the game; psychological patterns, use emotional or cognitive tricks to influence decisions. We identified gaps in the existing game DP taxonomies, so we integrated concepts from the game side to enrich the game branch of DP ontologies, following the basic structure of Gray and their colleagues' work. This includes high-level patterns, meso-level patterns, and low-level patterns. We identify a new high-level category, technical pattern that deceives players by obscuring or misrepresenting the technical aspects of the game application. Fragmented downloads is a meso-level pattern under this category. Also, we discovered several new low-level patterns under the categories of monetary game DPs and psychological game DPs. We also identified 2 meta-level design strategies: DP combos, where multiple DPs are combined for a stronger effect, and DP enhancers, the design features are not inherently deceptive, but amplify the effect of other patterns. When we look at distributions, we found that monetary patterns were the most prevalent, psychological patterns came second, technical patterns were common and appeared in about half the games studied. Finally, when comparing Chinese and Japanese corpora, we found both similarities and differences. For example, in the Chinese corps, we saw frequent use of the evil battle pass, often appearing multiple times within a single game. In the Japanese corps, the fear of missing out pattern was much more common. Those differences may reflect distinct cultural influences on game design and player expectations. Therefore, our work makes 4 key contributions. Firstly, we extended the existing ontology of deceptive game design patterns with a new class and several subclasses. Secondly, we provided empirical evidence of deceptive patterns in Chinese and Japanese mobile games. Thirdly, we identified new patterns not previously described, and we discovered meta-level strategies, DP combos, and enhancers that show how multiple design patterns work together. We argue that those findings are important for both academia and industry. For academia, our ontology provides a stronger conceptual framework for analyzing game DPs. For the industry, we highlight the need for ethical reflections, while free-to-play models rely on monetization. Developers should balance the interests of paying and non-paying players. Games should create a fair environment, not one where DPs are the default. Our study is not without limitations. We focus on only 18 games, all from mobile platforms. We do not spend real money in those games, so we may have missed spending-related deceptive patterns. Some patterns, like the evil battle pass, are so complex that our current ontology cannot fully capture them. Future work should test the generalizability of our findings across more platforms, game categorization, and cultural contexts. Thank you for your attention. Please feel free to email us if you have any questions. And this is our reference list.